Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend some time with us today. We got all kinds of stuff going on. We're going to bring you along with us.
Well, I'm going to attempt to work on the fence again this evening. I managed to put up a couple of posts first thing this morning. I've got everything packed up on the front forks of the tractor right here. All of my tools, everything is there, ready to go. I'm going to leave everything. I'm going to be working off the forks here. What I'm going to be working on today is putting in the cross bracing that goes between each post. And if I get far enough along, I'll do some more on it. But that's going to be my goal this evening, is to at least get those cross braces put in there. Maggie, she's down here walking Ty around. She's done been in here for like 30 minutes.
I know, I had trouble trying to get them to not go in that mud.
She loves her horses. I managed to get the second post right there put up this morning. And then that post right out there. And so what I'm going to be doing today is, you see how those braces over there have the cross piece in them? We're going to be working on putting that in these. So I'll have this one to do, this one to do, that one down there to do, and that one down there to do. So hopefully I can get that done. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put my cross brace, if I'm going to put it level, if I'm going to put it at an angle to slope with the ground. I mean, this is really just an appearance thing. It's not going to affect the functionality of it whatsoever. I'm just trying to decide which way I want to do it. I've got those over there angled with the ground, but somewhere around here, on some of these braces, I've got it set. I've got the cross member set in level. So I'm really not sure how I want to do this. If I set it level, it's going to put it like right there on that post. So I think I'm going to angle it, because I believe that would be too low. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut it off because it won't go in where it's supposed to be. And on the opposite side, we'll do a similar angle on it. On flat ground, this is a lot easier, but if you're trying to work with the slope, you have to kind of play with it to get your angles cut just right for this brace to go in. Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. We just need to tap this down just a little bit on that side. But what we're going to have to do, so to hold this bracing in place, these rods go into that post like that right there. And so what we're going to do is drill from this side over here all the way through, and then we'll be able to drive that rod in. And on this one, yeah, we'll probably do the same thing. We'll just drill all the way through the post to put the rod in. Bring that end up just a hair, and bring this end down just a hair. Think. And what I'm going by, y'all, is I've got a mark right here representing the top of this post. So this mark is at 45 inches from the ground. And that post right there is 45 inches from the ground. So what I'll eventually do is cut this off so that all of my posts are the same height once I'm done with everything. I will show you. I can see exactly where I need to trim because where it's been rubbing up against the other post. And what I'm after is I'm after to have this, so like I said, the top of the post will be right there. I want to have this the same distance from the top as it is down here on this end. We ain't quite there yet, but we may be as close as we're going to be. I think it's going to be there. 41. And we're at 39 there, so we're actually still 2 inches lower on this end. Huh. Man. Let's see what I can do. That ought to be it. All right, we're still about a ½ inch off, but I'm gonna leave it at that because where it's wedging in there, I can see a gap starting to come on this post right here, which is fine because once I get my wire bracing in here, that's gonna pull all this back together tight. I just don't wanna move it too much though. This drill bit right here is dull as it can be. So we're probably gonna see some smoking and everything else going on. My battery's dead, but it's not. Now to the other side. All right, so the next thing I have to do, and I always have to think about this, I have to run a wire, wrap it around the bottom of this post, to the top of this post. And when I tighten down on that wire, that will push this post this way against that cross member onto that post. So it'll be putting pressure on that post, pushing that way. And then our wires, our fence wires, will be pulling back this way. So they'll work against each other.
So tomorrow's hog killing day. As most of you know, we take several weekends in the month of December and process our hogs and neighbors' hogs all together. So, you know, it's a crowd of people, and, well, you got to feed the working people. So that's what I'm working on right now, is making food for tomorrow. I've already made me some biscuits over here. I'm going to make breakfast for everybody and put some sausage in those and some country ham. The next thing I'm going to make, though, is something that I've never made before, but I had a viewer send me some wonderful treats for Christmas, and thank you so much for sending those to us. Everything was delicious, but along with the treats, she also sent me some recipes. I love new recipes, and I love trying new recipes. One of them was an easy fudge recipe, so if it tastes anything like her fudge, I'm going to be doing good, because her fudge is great. The first thing I'm going to need is 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, 14-ounce can. We're going to put this in a microwave-safe bowl. The next thing we're going to need is around 10 to 12 ounces of chocolate chips. Now I'm going to try something here. I'm going to do half milk chocolate and half semi-sweets. So 10 to 12 ounces is like one of these little bags. So I'm going to do like half this bag and then some of the semi-sweet. I just want to make some plain old chocolate fudge. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball this one. That's probably enough. About a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm going to combine all that, and we're going to pop that in the microwave for 2.5 minutes. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to line my pan I'm going to use here with tin foil. Now in her directions, she said she used a 6 to 7 inch square pan to make some pretty thick fudge. I'm going to make mine thinner because I want it to go a long ways. So we're going to line that. Now we'll be ready. Now I'm going to just stir this until it's all combined and creamy. After re-looking at the directions, I was supposed to add the vanilla now, but I added it earlier, so hopefully that'll be okay. Now I'm going to take this and pour it into my pan here. And if it won't spread all the way on this 9x13, I will just make a little bit more. I actually think that right there will work just fine. So now, this is going to go in the fridge until it sets up.
I've got some old high tensile wire here that we pulled off of a buddy of mine's fence several years ago. And that's what I'm going to be using for my my wire bracing. For this bracing here, I like to run two rounds around it. Just want to make sure I have enough wire. You don't want to cut it too short. It looks like we got plenty. Stick that in the ground to keep it from running away. This is something else I always have to think about. I have to remember how all this goes together. I don't do it enough to just automatically know. Tie these things together. this high tensile wire, you use crimps to tie it together. And you have a special set of crimping pliers to mash the crimps down. I want my ratchet to be on the inside because my electric wire is going to be on the outside here, and if it's sticking out past that, it may touch the electric wire. So yeah, let's move this around to over here. All right, so to hold this down at the bottom of this post, I'm going to use one of these fencing staples. I'm going to just drive it. We don't want it tight. We just want it there to hold the wire from sliding up the post. So we'll do it just like that. We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to put it up here at the top. Then we're going to come here to our ratchet. We got this special tool here that works these ratchets. Like a little handle. And we've got a lot of ratcheting to do to make this tight. I should have pulled the wire up just a little bit better than I did. But it's still going, it'll wind up there. Yeah, now it's all pulling together nice and tight. And let me make sure I done that wrong. Dadgummit. What'd y'all let me do that for? You dummy. The top side, the high side needs to be over here, and the low side needs to be down here. Golly. Well, luckily it's an easy fix. All I gotta do is loosen it and pull those staples out. But still, just a point of the matter. Can't believe I've done that. Gotta get back in the rhythm of things. It's been a long time. Oh yeah. Alright, so this should just simply slide down here. Let me make sure this is right first, because that needs to be pushing this way against the top of the post, pushing it this way, because the wire is going to be pulling that way. Yes, that's right. That worked, and I'm going to show you how I know. So we got the effect we're after, because you can see right there we got just a small gap in that post, and like in the dirt right there. And what that means is I've pulled that wire tight enough that it's pulling this post over, pushing to that post, and causing that post to somewhat have tension on it going that way. Now, when I put my wire up, the wire is going to be pulling that way on the post. So the purpose of that bracing is to counteract against each other, so it don't pull your post over. You're using the force off of this post to hold up that post by tying into the bottom of this post. It would have been nice if I got that wire just a little bit higher, but for as short of run of fences we got here, that'll be plenty good enough. If we were stretching this out over, you know, several hundred feet, 1,000 feet or whatever, I would have probably done that. I would have took it apart and redone it. But I mean, we're only going like 20, 30 foot max. And that's not gonna be no problem. So now what I've got to do is do this 3 more times. Up there, here, and over there.
All right, the next thing on my list is I'm gonna be making some sausage balls. I'm gonna be making these without Bisquick. Most recipes you see do call for Bisquick. I happen to not have any right now, and I've made them without it before. They turn out perfect. So I'm gonna show y'all how I do that. We're gonna start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna get all this mixed up and then just set it over here to the side for now. Now in a separate bowl, you're gonna want about a pound-ish of sausage. That may be a little more than a pound. It'll be fine. Around 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, shredded. Ideally, I would have shredded this myself. Not today. And 8 ounces of cream cheese. I love the sausage balls with the cream cheese in them. Now, that's room temperature-ish, so it's not as hard as if it was really cold. Now, you're going to take your hand or fork or something, and you're going to mix all this together. I'm just going to use my hand. It's easier to do it that way. And you just want to kind of make sure everything's evenly. You don't spread evenly. You don't see any giant hunks of cream cheese. Now we're going to take our sausage mixture and add it to our flour mixture. Just put the whole thing in there, y'all. Put it all in there. Alright, once it starts getting kind of crumbly like that, I know that there's enough flour in there for me anyway. I don't like them super, super bready. So, that didn't quite use up all my flour mixture, but that's fine. And my oven is sitting on 400 degrees. We're just going to start pinching off little pieces. And rolling them into little sausage balls. Just like that. Gonna put these in the oven.
Okay, so here we're right about 70 inches. Yep, looks like I got it a little too long. Sit there. It'll sit there. That's right at level. So that's where I'm going to leave this, because running crossways across here, the ground is for the most part flat this way. So we're not working on a slope anymore. So we'll just drill in from the ends and beat those pins in, and we'll be ready for our wire. And I think the correct way to do this is to put a rod in to the post and then slide this piece onto that rod. But I've built a few of these and I found it a lot easier just to drill all the way through and drive them in like this. All right, so now this one's ready for the wire bracing. Once you get the hang of these things, it don't take long to get them going. It's just like I don't build them on a regular basis, so I kind of have to refresh myself before I really get into the groove. Give them a good shake and they'll usually listen up. Here's something else I need to do. Where these get pulled so tight on the ends where I've crimped, I'm going to bend that around so they don't, most likely they won't pull out of the crimp, but we'll do this just for insurance. Right down in there, you can see I'm just starting to get a crack in the soil, between the soil and the post. And that's what I'm after. That means I've got just enough pressure on this post right here that it's starting to push out. Once things settle in, you know, if you're super concerned about your fence staying tight, you would probably want to go back, you know, in a month or two and retighten these ratchets some. But I think we're about to get it here. I've got that one and that one up there left to do now. And it's just going to be the same repeat of what I've already done, so I'm not going to make y'all watch that. I'll be back when I get them two done.
All right, the next thing I got to do is I'm going to pat out some little sausage patties for my biscuits for everybody for breakfast in the morning.
All right, I got my bracing done. See that piece right there is finished. We got the brace down yonder in that bottom corner. Now all I gotta do is put my T-post up, hang the gate, and hang the wire, which I'm gonna try to get the T-post up this evening. That shouldn't take but just a few minutes. And judging by the looks of how much daylight I got left, that's probably all I'm gonna get done today. Now the wire will be mounted on the outside of these wooden posts, so I want my string to be on the outside of my wooden post. And that way, my wire will be running in a perfectly straight line from here to there. And then I'll just butt my T-post up to this string when I drive them in. This is something I always struggle with, is getting a T-post. Oh shoot. I always struggle with getting a T-post straight. Like getting it where it's level. That should be perfect. That's it. Let's go do the other side. We want the string to the outside of the post. You want to make sure you pull that string tight. The tighter you got it, the straighter you're going to have it. And when I say I want the string out to the outside, that's what I'm talking about. See how that string's coming off the outside edge of that post? You don't want it coming in the center because your wire's not going to be going in the center. And if it was going on the back side, I'd want it right there. But our wire's going to be running right there on the front side, so we want that string on the front side. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13. And that should be it with 3 posts. That's about what I was thinking. You always hit a rock exactly where you want to put your post. Why is that? Not so perfect. Perfect. All right. What are you doing now? You been walking Ty around again?
Yes.
So what'd you let him go for?
He got too wet for me.
He got what?
He's trying to come in here.
He didn't want to be walked around no more, did he?
No, but we're going to do more tomorrow.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, I got my T-post all nice and straight looking down through there. Straight as an arrow. So I'm going to pull this string out, because if I don't, the cows will. And I guess I'm going to call it an evening today. If anybody's curious about what kind of string I'm using, this is just carpentry string. You go through this kind of stuff right here all the time. I mean, I use carpentry string for everything when you're trying to pull a straight line. Worst part about it is it just takes forever to wind back up. So Maggie was just asking me about this thing here, and I don't know if I've explained it to y'all yet or not of how this is going to work out. So it'll be fence line down that way, fence line up that way, and right here we'll have us a 12-foot swinging gate. And that'll be where we come in and out to put hay in, and that'll be where the cows go in and out to get back out into the pasture. Luckily, all we've got left now is to pull the wires and hang the gate, and then I'll go back and cut the tops of the post off. I thought I would do that today, but it's just getting nasty out here. So I guess I better go get my tools put up. Will you go be my gate opener?
Cool.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. My sausage balls are done. They ended up cooking around 20-ish minutes. I like to look for them to get kind of golden browned on the top. That may be a little too done for some people, but that's the way that we like them.
I left a heavy weight sometimes.
Thank you. I don't believe you can pick that up, Maggie.
I'm rolling it.
Yeah, you're rolling it, but I don't think you can pick it up.
Daddy, you know what?
What?
It doesn't feel heavy when you're rolling
You a horse-loving cowgirl.
it. Yeah.
You gonna ride horses and rope cows when you get older?
Yes.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Yes.
Boy, she loves some horses. You gonna plug a fence back in, or you want me to? All right, let's go down here and do it. Put it in that bottom plug. Push it in. Don't let your hangers touch it.
What's this put in for?
That goes to the greenhouse, the heater's in the greenhouse. Let me make sure. There we go.
Hey, Black Kitty!
Did you get the water? Did you get the water hose fixed?
Yeah, you don't need to put no water in there. I got that.
Okay.
So don't worry about the water. That trough down yonder's full, and that barrel's full.
Almost. And the girl that's normally barefooted isn't barefooted.
I know,
My
right?
feet ain't even hot.
They ain't. Well, that's surprising. You've got on shoes and your feet ain't hot. I can't believe it. Look, they know what time it is. Here they come.
I know, they always come. Look at
So as of right now, we've got 4 left, y'all, out of 6. They can eat out of that feeder too. There y'all go. So we're getting ready to slice up some of our pork chops from a pig we done just a few days ago. They've been chilling out because it makes them easier to cut when the meat's got cold. But right here they lay. And this right here is the backbone of the pig, and the backbone is split straight down the middle, and then this is the top part of the rib. Then on the other side, right there, is your tenderloin. And that's just your fat layer on the back side of the tenderloin. So essentially all a pork chop is the tenderloin with the bone in, and then you still got your, what we call the sweet meat right there, which is right there on that one. I'm gonna set my saw in. I believe we said we was gonna do ours a 1/2 inch this time. Look at that. So right there's your backbone. Then you've got a small bone right down the middle. This is what we call the sweet roll, and on this side is what we call the tenderloin. Them right there are some of my favorites, the ones that got the big piece of tenderloin in them. That's pretty right there. Look there. That's a really pretty piece of meat. Now that right there is what I call a box full of goodness. Yeah, I think the pork chop of a pig is probably one of the best parts there is. There's several different ways you can cook it. Back and seal them up and put them in the freezer, and they'll be ready when we're ready.
I got all my sausage balls ready. Now I'm frying up some ham for the biscuits. If you don't want to use all that sausage, you don't have to. So, I mean, there's several sausage patties there.
Several biscuits there too.
Don't want you to add, do they?
No, boy, the shoulder smells good.
I think I counted. I think it was 30 biscuits. That's about how many it was last time. It's a big old pan of good-looking biscuits. And I like doing biscuits this way because it's like the longer they sit,
The better they are.
the better they get.
Yeah.
Like these will be so good in the morning.
I think a sausage biscuit is 3 times better the next day.
Yep.
After it's like, I don't know, soaked up into the bread or something.
Yep. I just checked my fudge. It hadn't quite set up yet, so I'll probably cut that in the morning and put it in a container to take down there. But here we go. Anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Until we see y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good one.